Theme 4, Chapter 1, Storytelling, Lesson 7. In the previous lesson, we have illustrated our own story. You have chosen a setting, which is the place, and you have chosen the main character, and you have tell us the events using pictures and drawing. Today, you will tell us the same story using a puppet. I want you to make your own puppet, and it will be the main character of your story. And you will tell your parents this story using your puppet. You can make any type of puppet. You can make it using clothes, you can make it using paper. Use any tools you want. Lesson 8. We have learned at the beginning of this chapter that when I describe a story and I use my 5 senses, it makes it more interesting. So now I want to review the 5 senses before starting this lesson. I use my nose. For what sense? Excellent. Smell. I use my ears too. Hear. Excellent. I use my tongue too. Taste. I use my eyes too. I use my eyes to see, but what is the name of the sense? Excellent. Sight. I use my hands. For what sense? Touch. Excellent. This is a great job. You are so good. So far in this chapter, we have been using the word story. We usually say story. I want to tell a story. We have another word that means also story. We call it narrative. Narrative means a story about series of events. Narrative means story. And a personal narrative is a story about a series of events, and you are the main character. You are the main character. Because you are the main character, it's called personal narrative. And we call it also personal narrative because your story will be about a place that you went and things that you have done. We have been telling a story using illustration, puppets, and telling. Today, you are going to start with words of our story. So we will use words. I want you to open your student book to page 95. Okay, this is page 95. Thinking about my trip and dash senses, using my senses. It tells me here, complete each sentence to describe your trip. You will not use all of the senses in your final story. Is it important to use all my 5 senses? No, you don't have to use all your 5 senses. You will use only the senses that will help you describe your trip. There may be a sense that will not help me, so don't use it. Okay, the first one, the sight. And here is eye, because we use our eyes to see, and the sense is sight. What did you see in your trip? I want you to think of something you have seen in your trip, and you will write it here. Here I saw, and you will write the thing that you have seen in your trip. After that, we have sound, and the sense is hearing. What did you hear in your trip? I heard, and you will tell me something that you heard here. You can tell me you heard birds, you heard a song, you heard any voice or any sound you heard in your trip. Smell. What did you smell in your trip? I smelled. Tell me something you have smelled in your trip here. You may have smelled a flower, you may have smelled a food, a perfume, or anything you have smelled in your trip. The last one is taste. What did you eat while on your trip? You have eat something, you have to write it here. I ate, and write what you have ate here. I'm sorry, there is another one here. Touch. What did you touch while on your trip? I touched what? What have you touched? You will remember what you have touched in your trip and write it here. So in this page, let's get the page. In this page, all of your page, you have the 5 senses, and you have to remember what you have done in your trip and answer the questions here. Each one of you will complete this page according to his own trip. Now let's practice recognizing sense description. Open page 95. This is page 95. It's story time. Read the passages below. Use the key to highlight words describing sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch in the correct color, which means that we have here each sense have a color. We will read the passages below, and when we see something that describes sight, we will underline in blue. Something about hearing, we will underline in yellow. Smell in green, taste in red, and touch in orange. Okay, this is our senses color key. Let's read the first passage. A girl was in her way to school. She saw a shiny black rock. She reached down to pick it up. The rock was hard and smooth. What descriptive words for senses here? What senses did she use? Excellent. She saw a shiny black rock. She saw, so she used the sight sense. So we will underline saw a shiny black rock, so this in blue, because we are using the sense of sight. There is another sense here. What? Yes, she picked it up and the rock was hard and smooth. Hard and smooth is descriptive word for what? For touch. When she touched the rock, she found it hard and smooth. Excellent. So underline with orange here. Now let's read the second passage. A boy went fishing. He smelled the salty air. The boy almost caught a fish. He heard the fish splash in water before it got away. So what senses did this boy used in this passage? We will look for the descriptive word. Excellent. He smelled the salty air. He smelled the air. So what is the sense? Smell. Let's go up and see the smell in green. The smell in green. So I will underline smelled the salty air in green. Excellent. Is there any sense here in this passage? He heard the fish splash in water. Splash. Splash is the sound of water when something dropped in it. Yani, when we drop a fish or a rock in water, it splash. So he heard the splash. Splash is a descriptive word for heard. So the sense is hearing. Let's go up and see hearing. Hearing in yellow. Hearing in yellow. Yellow sound ear. We will go down and underline heard splash in yellow. Just remember that when we are telling a story, we don't have to use all the 5 senses. We use only the sense that help me describe my story. Now turn to page 97. Describing my trip. Now we will describe your trip and we will think about the setting, the character, and the event. Do you remember what is the meaning of setting? Excellent. It's where the story takes place. Where the story takes place. The place where the story happened. So the setting means the place. What is the meaning of character? Who can tell me? Excellent. Who in the story? The person or the humans who are the story about. Who in the story? What is the meaning of events? What happened in the story? Excellent. Good job. In this page, we will tell the same trip and the same story using here. We will look here. Where did you go in your trip? Where? So here we want the place, the setting in the place. I went to, you will write here the place that you have went to on your trip. After that, who went on the trip with you? Who were with you? Here are the characters. I went on my trip with, you will write the names of the characters here. You may have gone with your friends, write the name of your friends. If you have gone with your parents, write here mom and dad. What did you do in your trip? Here you have 2 events. You will write here I, and you will write here what you have done. First event and the second event, what you have done in your trip. If you finish this page, you have told me where have you gone and who were with you and what have you done there. We have finished our lesson and we have learned that using our senses in describing a trip or experience or a story make it more exciting. And you have learned also that when you tell a story, you have to tell the setting, the character, and the events. Thank you so much.